Hello again. Here are a couple of LG multiplayer machines. Now these on the top play DVD, they play HD DVD and they play Blu-ray. So they're quite rare machines. They're getting long in the tooth, not quite as long as in the tooth as this one here, which is not a CD player, but it's a video disc player. This is the CED format. So they're sat on top of this machine, and I've made a video in the past about my machine on the top, which is the LG BH200, and this machine does still work of sorts. It does play some discs, but it is really starting to struggle to play a lot of the HD DVD discs. And one of the reasons here is that when some of the discs get a bit older, they start to deteriorate and they have some kind of rot that sets in, so they basically become unplayable, or so I thought, until I actually put them into this machine, which is the earlier BH100 machine. Now I can't really tell if it's the fact that the PCB board, which I've got in the LG, the one on the top, the BH100, I'm not sure if that is causing the read issues, because as shown in my previous video about this machine, it is intermittent. There are issues with it, and I did have trouble at some stage to get this machine to actually turn on properly, whereas I've actually had no issues at all with the earlier BH100 machine. So as a comparison, I'm just going to turn this one on now, and I will try to load a HD DVD that I believe is failing. And I had a stash of Harry Potter films which I ended up throwing away because I only had this machine out at the time, and the machine just didn't read any of them. So I had one disc left, and I've got a BH100 which I just had in storage because I prefer the look of the BH200, and I tried it in the bottom machine and it played, and I couldn't believe it. And then I was thinking, oh gosh, I've thrown some discs away, I shouldn't have. So anyway, let's try this now. The culprits here seem to be the titles made by Warner Brothers. So there's some defect in the manufacturing process, which means a lot of those titles will have issues. This machine is quite nice because it's got the indicator on the front. It's got a Blu-ray and an HD DVD indicator. When neither are lit, it has either nothing loaded or a DVD loaded. When either side is lit, it's telling you basically what media is present in the machine. So at the moment it has noticed that it is a HD DVD, but unfortunately this is as far as it gets. So the screen just stays on this kind of starting up screen that says Super Blue, and it's really not doing very much at all. And it does tend to not load whatsoever. I'll put a few different ones in now just so you can see. So the next one I'm going to actually put in will be this disc here, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So let's just wait for this to eject. Let's see if this one loads. So if you're in the market for one of these machines, you probably want to ask the seller as well if they've tried it with multiple discs, basically for HD DVD discs, just to ensure that it is actually reading something. It's not going as planned because this disc is not reading, and it was reading only a few months ago, so maybe we've got some serious issues with the HD DVD side of the player. And I'm just going to try one more disc. It's called Into the Wild, and I think that might be slightly more recent, so let's give that a go. Unfortunately, it seems my player has now decided not to play any HD DVDs, So it's probably a good job I didn't put many more through here thinking that they were all terrible and then throw all of them out, because I've obviously got a machine that does play them here. I have a DVD writer that's HD, DVD and Blu-ray, and it's located in the PC, so I'm wondering if the drive would fit into this case, or is it something not really worth attempting to do. I don't know actually if the connections on the back of this are standard or if they're a custom kind of setup that LG have gone for, so I would need to take the lid off this to find out. Anyway, I'm going to put a Blu-ray in now just to test the Blu-ray side. There's one in there. I'll just record this part, just showing the selection. They're quite slow to start up, these machines. Obviously it's nice to have just one machine that can do everything, but in reality these get old, the discs get old, they've got defects on the discs, so these machines do struggle to do anything proper with them. Okay, so it seems to have loaded the Blu-ray side fine, and I can also confirm that this will play DVDs and CDs as well. Looks like it's about to load up the start. There you go. Going to part this now and rely on the bottom player. Now the main difference between these is that the bottom one has less sound capabilities on the output. It's also less pleasing, I guess, to look at. This is a nice cleaner design. It's less chunky. It's also got these nice indicators on the front, so obviously not really worth it if the HD DVD side is giving up the ghost. So what I'll do is I'll switch these over and we'll try these discs in this bottom BH100, which is actually an older machine and seems to have lasted and stood the test of time better, in terms of it's not had the strange malfunction where the LG BH200 couldn't even start up properly sometimes, whereas this one has always worked fine. So I will switch them over now. Both machines are imported from the US, so they are 120 volt machines, so I do need to turn my 240 volts down, and that's the box on the floor there, which is responsible for that. It also needs to have a decent enough wattage as well, so or capability to handle a decent amount, I should say. These machines take a little while to get going. This has got a nice bit of writing. I don't know if it will show, but it just has a Blu-ray disc marking on there, and then it says Blu-ray disc and HD DVD underneath it. So it seems like they were favouring really Blu-ray even early on, because they're showing off the logo here. Can't probably see it very well. Okay, so say no disc. We get a little chime. Let's go straight for the difficult one. Oh, they all seem to be difficult at the moment. Now this has got evidence of having a sticker over here, and the previous person who owned this probably found that this was way too bright in a darkened room with your big TV screen and trying to have enjoyment of the film, so they've covered that over, and I'm tempted to get a bit of plastic to put over that myself, just to dampen the brightness there, because you really don't want your eyes to be drawn to that. And there's proof. It's managed to load that disc, and I know that this disc isn't great really, because it has got evidence on the side of it, the back of it, that it is suffering from this kind of faulty disc manufacture, so it does look a little bit smeary, as if it's almost stained. But that drive is obviously doing a really good job at reading that. So I will jump to, well, I'll jump to this one, give this one a go. Let's just see if they all work. The other main difference, apart from the sound output between the BH100 and the BH200 machine, is the fact that the earlier machine, the BH100, does not process the menus on the HD DVD disc. So what happens is it kind of goes through the various warnings, and then it goes straight into the title and begins to play that. So that is the main difference that you'll see. So obviously it's nice to have the BH200 working, because then it treats the disc properly and you get to see the menus, any special features, etc. This one just jumps you straight into the film. Final disc is into the wild. So I've just popped that one in. So 2 successful ones there. The tests I haven't done is obviously tried to play these right to the end. So potentially there may be issues, particularly on the Harry Potter one, because I know that there are issues with this disc, and potentially you could be watching the film right up until the last half hour or so, and then it may start to stutter and really struggle to play the last part of the disc. So that's something to bear in mind even if you think your discs are working fine. So at least it's proven that for now this BH100 machine is in much better condition, in terms of it's not giving me any intermittent issues. So it starts out fine, it loads all of the discs fine at least, so you'll get a good run and a good attempt at watching something that's been recorded as a HD DVD disc. Yeah, so that one's also working fine. I'm going to put a Blu-ray in now. Wouldn't it be funny if this one plays HD DVDs but not Blu-rays? So already it's detected that it's a Blu-ray, so you only get little indicators on the display for that. And unlike the HD DVD, it should go into the menus, so that's obviously the start up there. And that's gone into the menu for the Blu-ray. Obviously using an older player like this, it may struggle with some Blu-ray titles. As time went on with the newer releases, they may have made the structure of the disc a certain way that this machine then becomes, or it finds it hard to play the disc and play all the features of the disc. So that's something to bear in mind. But I think honestly this is probably the keeper machine. So the BH100 hasn't given me the kind of issues that I've had with the BH200. The manufacturing process of this earlier machine and the boards are just a better standard, a better quality than the BH200. Okay, so that's just my thoughts on this, and I hope that this is just giving you a bit of an idea what to expect if you're looking at this sort of technology still. And if you'd like to like and subscribe, then that'd be great. I'm thinking of doing a bit of a teardown of these two machines in the future, so if you are interested in that, then I will do a video to compare the insides of these machines, and I might go as far as trying to swap the drives between them to see what happens. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.